folks, today we're talking about the latest addition to the Fuji X100 series. It is the Fuji X100VI. It was pre-ordered on the day that it was launched and it only took 3 months. Not too bad. The X100 series has gained popularity over the years and it has not stopped. From your point of view, why do you think there's so much hype with this camera? From what I see, I do think this camera has a bit of a hype, but it does start with the nostalgia aspect. In the film days, where you have an analog camera and you try to basically use film, but with this series, obviously you're not shooting film and you get the film simulations, and that means you're saving on costs because you can get the film look without the film cost. And I think that's one of the key reasons why it got so popular is because of that. And obviously the build quality is fantastic and it's extremely portable. I had a video before on the Fuji X100V, which is a fantastic camera by the way, but the Fuji X100VI does have a few perks that I feel that improves on the previous generations. I was initially very skeptical about upgrading from my previous X100V just because I was very happy with it. But after I tried the new X100VI, I must say that I was completely wrong, and I'm very glad that I got the new generation to make a video about it, to share with you guys, but also because it has some features that I really appreciate. And obviously starting with the new sensor, which comes from the XC5, it doesn't sound much, but from the X100 series, having that sensor 40 megapixels with the exact same lens, it was surprising to me how much details is able to resolve, because I did feel that the lens could limit the details that it could capture, but I was wrong. And I was not just wrong about that, I was wrong about also the IBIS being a gimmick, because the IBIS does really help in the videography aspect for this camera. In 6K, not so much, I'll dive a little bit more later, but 4K HQ, amazing with IBIS. 4K 60, amazing as well. I think the IBIS definitely does add additional value to the camera. And looking at other aspects of the camera itself, with the new sensor, it is definitely more snappy. I do feel that moving around across the menus is actually much easier to do, or less lag compared to the previous generation. So I think those are good things to have. But as always, there's areas of improvement and things that I didn't expect with the new sensor to still occur in this new generation is that when you're using film simulation, if you use the previous generation, you know that there's a moment that it takes that it's processing the image. So it shows you the storing image screen. And I did think that with the new generation that would be resolved just because there's will process the data faster, but unfortunately that's still here. Lastly, the 6K, as I mentioned, there is actually significant rolling shutter when you use 6K. So unless you're using it in a tripod mode, I would avoid using 6K. I personally like really the 4K HQ, as I mentioned, and I'm actually quite happy with that. Other than that, as I mentioned, the camera is actually very snappy, but there are some times where when you're reviewing the pictures, it takes a bit longer than the previous generation. I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's trying to load the 40 megapixels, but new processor should actually handle that properly. But it only happens sometimes, so I'm not entirely sure if this could be resolved in a firmware update. Overall, the Fuji X100VI is quite an impressive camera, and I'm very glad that I actually got this. I'm very pleased with the features that has been upgraded with, and shooting this camera with the film simulations has been an incredible joy. I use this with TMAX Recipe, and I'm so happy with the pictures that it comes out with. I just feel like the details that it's able to resolve with the same lens, it's very impressive. And I know that you guys want to see a comparison of a Leica Q3 and the Fuji X100VI, so do subscribe, stay tuned to our channel because we will make that video happen. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video.